Here we go. A good day, everyone. Father Pat Garrett with us on SSJ at Home for our Friday conversation. Father Pat, another big and busy weekend coming up. August 15th is the Assumption. It is the feast day that we celebrate every year when we commemorate the bodily taking up of Mary into heaven at the end of her earthly life. Tell us a little bit about what we have on tap for the weekend. I know it starts, I guess, with an 8:30 Mass on Saturday morning.
Yeah. So really special, right? So the Solemnity of Assumption is one of those. It's a holy day of obligation. But a few years back, the U.S. bishop said, well, if the feast day falls on Saturday, which it does this year, that it's not a holy day of obligation because of the obligation to come to Sunday Mass. But this year, especially, right, with the dispensation from the bishop about attending Mass in general, there really is no such thing as a holy day of obligation. So while it's not a holy day of obligation, we do hope that people will come to Mass Saturday morning. The Mass will be simulcast, so come to Mass either in church or come to Mass at home via the internet. We've started here having the 8:30 Mass on Saturday morning, and will always be simulcast, both people available to come in church and on the internet. And one thing that we're doing, especially for the Saturday morning Mass, is that we're starting with a morning prayer. So the celebration of the Mass combines morning prayer with the celebration of the Mass. So we'll be doing that Saturday morning. We will start with morning prayer and just blend it right in. We do a combo right into the Mass. Morning prayer is part of the Liturgy of the Hours. It's part of the prayers that I, as a priest, make a vow to pray each day. Deacons, religious do it, and so we'll start with the morning prayer and have the Mass, and then at the end of the Mass, we will do a consecration to the Immaculate Heart of Mary, and then we will pray a rosary. And the interesting thing about the rosary we play, it's being sponsored by our Acts team, and they've arranged for the rosary to be prayed, I guess it would be pentalingual, so in 5 different languages. So each decade will be prayed in a different language. So again, we hope you can either join us in church or via the internet.
And that is also the first day, that Rosary Novena is also the first day of the 54-day Rosary Miracle Novena, which is being sponsored by the Society of, let me see if I got this straight, the Society of Our Lady of the Most Holy Trinity, the Brothers of SOLT. It's 54 days, beginning with the Assumption through October 7th. We've been also running a flyer on SSJ at Home regarding that novena. Can you tell us anything more about that?
Yeah. So it is 54 days, which means it's not a novena, it's 6 novenas, right? So a novena is 9 days. And this, they're asking us to pray those 9 novenas, to pray the rosary for 54 days straight, to really just pray for our country, right? Here leading up to the election in November. So we start praying here on August 15th on the Feast of the Assumption, and they ask that each day we pray it. For the first 27 days, you pray asking for God's grace upon our country. For the last 27 days, the last 3 times you pray the novena, then you pray in thanksgiving for the for the blessings that God has shared on our country. So the 54 days will go from August 15th to October 7th. So, and each day praying a rosary. I was talking to someone the other day. They were talking about how they were really feeling bad because they really want to pray the rosary every day, and they really have wanted to pray the rosary, but it's really difficult for them to pray the rosary. And I was like, I know exactly what you're talking about, right? I've mentioned it before. My mom has this unbelievable devotion to praying the rosary. And if she misses a day, she feels it, right? And so she can't miss a day praying the rosary. And I love that devotion that she's got. There is a certain spirituality in that is just so magnificent. But I, on the other hand, I struggled praying the rosary, right? I was part of that post-Vatican II generation where, I can remember as a kid, my parents would gather us around the bed to pray the rosary every night, and I didn't like it. I was bored, and then when I got old enough to start appreciating doing that, that's when kind of the thinking on the church was, oh, you don't pray the rosary, that's just repeating the same prayers over and over and over again. And so my parents stopped praying it with the family. It's interesting that when we all went away to college, they started praying it together again. And right until the day my dad died 6 years ago, they daily prayed the rosary together. But we stopped praying it as a family there as I was getting older, and I just never developed that habit. And I still remembered those old days of having to pray the rosary. So in recent years, I've prayed the rosary more, and I've adjusted, my prayer life to pray the rosary. And I do other prayers, right? And that's the important thing, right? Maybe praying the rosary isn't your thing, but especially during this novena, right? Find a way each day to stop and pray for that 54 days, to pray for our country, to pray for this the election that's coming up, to right now, especially with all of the problems that are going on, we really need to pray. So I encourage you to stop each day for the next 54 days and pray the rosary, or if you can't do that, just to at least stop and pray.
Okay, it all starts with Saturday's Assumption Mass at 8:30, and then the Rosary following that Mass, and followed, of course, by the first day of the 54-day, 6 novenas. And we have a flyer that we have on SSJ at Home. You can find more information on it, or you can visit, for even more information, queenofpeacemedia.com. Father Pat, thanks for your time. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.